On October 6, 1975, Brad and I hadn't seen each other for a while. That was the first semester of our second year of college. We both skipped that semester because we needed to stay home and earn some money to pay for the next semester. So we hadn't seen each other for a while, but we had talked to each other on the phone. We had written letters to each other. We had fallen in love over long distance. Um, that weekend, he decided to come visit me. So he borrowed his dad's car. It took $20 to fill it up with gas. He drove the 8 hours to get to my house, and we spent the weekend in each other's company. It was a fun weekend. He was planning to ask me to marry him, but I didn't realize that. I knew we were in love. I loved him. He told me he loved me, but I didn't know that, he was planning to ask me to marry him. That was kind of a big step. So, the last night of that weekend, he was going to go home. We um, dumped my brother and sister off at my house and told them we were going to go out just on our own. And we went to a new subdivision where there was no houses, but they had put all the streets in. It was beautiful, picturesque, lots of trees, but nothing but trees and streets and the bayous that drained the water away. It's in Houston. That night, so we went out 8-ish at night. We um, sat and talked in the car. We made out a little bit, but we mostly talked. And at one point, a car drove up from in the woods, a truck, that had two guys in it, and they hollered out to us, "Hey, you guys know James?" And we didn't know who they were talking about, so we said no. But at that point, I had told Brad, lock the doors because this is Houston. It's just not as safe here as it is in some places. So we locked the doors, continued talking. He asked me to marry him. I said, that's wow. Okay. Yeah, that would be great. It didn't feel like I gave him a really solid yes, but it definitely was more positive than negative. A few minutes after that happened, the two guys came back out of the woods, except they pulled up right behind us. We were parked at the end of a street. The street ended at a bayou. So we couldn't go forward because the ditch was in front of us, big old ditch. And we couldn't back up because the pickup was behind us. The guys got out of the truck. One of them had a shotgun in his hand. The other one had a flashlight. Thank goodness the doors were locked. Um, the fat guy said, "Step out of the car, please." And Brad said, "You know what? We can talk from in here." The skinny guy didn't say anything, but he had his flashlight shining it up and down me from the passenger side. The fat guy said, "Step out of the car now, or I'm going to blow your blankety blank head off." So Brad got out of the car, but as he got out, he locked the door, closed it behind him, took the keys with him, and threw them, the guy who wanted the keys to, threw the keys out into the grass so that the guys couldn't get into the car to get me. Whatever happened to him, he was going to deal with it, but he didn't want him to get me. Very, very chivalrous of him. I'm in the car terrified and praying my heart out. I'm praying, "Oh God, why now? I mean, he just asked me to marry him. We've got all of our lives ahead of us. This is crazy. What's your timing here?" And then I'm praying, "God, please send my daddy to rescue us." And then I'm praying, "Oh God, if you want us to get married, just keep us alive here." Which kind of puts Brad in a predicament because then he has to marry me if he lives. But, it worked out. So Brad stepped out of the car and he starts testifying to the guys. These guys are saying, um, "Get the girl out of the car." And he said, "No, you know what? We can talk. You and I can talk. Just leave her in the car. Leave her out of it." But he starts telling them that, you know what, God, our God, is powerful and he can save us. And the fat guy says, your God can't stop a bullet. Brad says, no, I don't believe he can. Because I have proof. In the Bible, there's stories about God taking care of three Hebrew children that were thrown, three guys that were thrown into a furnace full of fire, and God took care of them. There's also another story of a guy that worshipped God, and he was thrown into a den full of hungry lions. God took care of him. Lions didn't eat him. He ended up okay. Um, People that worship God, God takes care of his children. And this conversation goes back and forth with Brad saying God can do this stuff, and he's talking these guys' ears off. The guy's saying, you know, your God ain't got nothing on me. I got the gun here. So Brad keeps talking. Then I hear, while I'm praying, I hear through the window, drop your pants. What? He says, drop your pants and lay face down on the grass. So he's going to do what to Brad? And in Brad's head, because he's been in this conversation the whole time, I've been praying, so I wasn't listening to everything. In Brad's head, he's thinking, I just gave blood last week to a guy that was shot in the stomach. I know you can survive a gunshot wound to the stomach. I do not want somebody thinking that I was a coward running away and got shot in the back. So I'm happy to drop my pants, but I am not laying face down in the grass. So he dropped his pants. In October, it's cold, and yeah. The next thing I hear is these guys saying, the big guy saying, hey, Larry, um, take the take the distributor cap off the car. And then I'm hearing, no, Larry, put that distributor cap back on the car. Just make sure it works good. And then take some of the air out of one of these tires so they can't catch us. And that means that they're going to try to let us go. He had at some point taken Brad's money. The only money he had left was $20 to get him back home. And they get the flashlight, hunt up our keys in the grass, give Brad back his money. The big guy says, hey, we're good guys, we're regular guys. I'm Ray, this is Larry. Here's a picture of my wife and two kids. We're regular guys, we're Catholic, we go to church every time, when it's a special service, Christmas and Easter, we're always there. And it's a good thing you guys got us instead of somebody else, because somebody else might have shot you or something, you're just fortunate you got us. But you really need to watch out and not go parking out here in these woods, because it's kind of dangerous. So it's kind of a good thing you're white, too, because, we don't take good to these other people coming in here. So I'm looking out, and Brad's got his pants back up. He's got his $20 back in his wallet. The Larry guy, the skinny guy, is putting the distributor cap on the car. He has let out some of the air in the tire. And now they're saying, okay, give us 20 minutes and then let us go. And they left. And I'm thinking they're gonna be waiting for us on the road out of the housing division. They never did. They left and they were gone. And Brad laughed. I was about in tears. Not to mention I had to pee so fierce. But Brad was laughing on the way out, saying, I wonder how far they're going to get before they realize God really did stop this bullet. 2 weeks later, Brad was back home. I wanted to show my sister this place where something horrible happened to us. We couldn't tell anybody we were engaged because we didn't want to have to, if it didn't work out, we didn't want to have to tell everybody we were getting married, and then tell everybody we weren't getting married. So I wanted to tell my sister some of the stuff that happened. It was just too exciting to keep inside. So I took my sister out 2 weeks after that happened, um, and a sheriff stopped us, and he said, "What are you girls doing out here?" I said, "I'm just showing my sister where my boyfriend took me the other night. And it was a kind of terrifying, exciting night." And he said, "Girls, don't be out here in these woods alone, even in the daytime. A couple of nights ago, there was a couple out here. They were parked, and two guys came up and held him up. They raped the girl. They shot the guy, left him for dead. And we haven't caught him yet. We don't know who they are." And I said, "Whoa, I know who they are. Their names are Ray and Larry. They drive a two-tone green pickup." Um, but that's the story of October 6, 1975, the night Brad asked me to marry him.